Hey guys, so I've got my hands on the functional tennis fence mount for cameras, and I'm going to give you a very quick tutorial about how you set it up and how you can best use it. Let's take a look. So, the functional tennis fence mount, it's an amazing tool to help you to get better footage of your match play or your technique when playing tennis. Quite often when you're using a normal tripod, it's very difficult to get a good angle of yourself playing tennis. The fence mount is very simple. You attach your camera, whether it be your smartphone or an action camera, and you simply hang it above the fence at the back of the court so you can get a nice wide angle view of the tennis court from a higher perspective like you see when you're watching tennis on the television. The fence mount comes with two different attachments. You've got this attachment here, which is suitable for smartphones. You can see that it's got an adjustable clamp to put your phone in like so, and a nice rubber attachment which can secure it in place. Alternatively, it also comes with a action camera attachment which also attaches to the pole, so if you've got a GoPro you can attach that too. So when your fence mount arrives, you will receive an extendable pole, a hook which will attach to the pole here, and you get your two attachments which I mentioned before. You'll have the smartphone adapter and the action camera adapter, and finally you will receive this handy little piece of velcro. And I'll explain what that's going to be useful for in a second. So the first thing you need to think about is which attachment you want to be using. You can use your smartphone attachment or you can use your action camera attachment, but you can put both of them on together. All you need to do is take your pole. You'll see here at one end there is a threaded part of the pole, and this is the end where you're going to slide out. Now there's a bit of a screw here, so if you undo that it will allow you to extend the pole to its full length. You don't need to open it all the way up, just a little bit, so that there's enough room at the top here to put on your attachment. And you'll see with this attachment here that there is a little screw, and you can undo that, loosen it up to make this gap in the middle big enough so that you can put on top of the pole like so, and then just tighten it up here. As I say, if you're going to be using an action camera and your smartphone, you can always open it up a bit more and add the other attachment onto here, but this works exactly the same. You unscrew it and you slide it on. Once you've got that attached, you can attach the hook on the top. You want to attach the shorter end onto the threaded part of the pole, and you're just going to turn it on like so. Doesn't need to be done too tight, just firm so that it's in place, and then you're good to go. All you need to do now is hang this in your desired location. So you can either hang it over one of these fences at the back of the court if you want to get that professional look from the back to see the whole court. Alternatively, you can see here that there's a little gap at the top if you want to hang it over the net cord and get a different perspective of the court. This is also great if you have fences like ours at the back with a wire across, but if you've got a normal fence with a beam, actually this is wide enough to sit over the top. So it's pretty versatile and works on lots of different areas, so you can use your imagination and get some really cool angles. But generally speaking, I find the best angle is setting this up at the back fence right in the center of the court so you can see the whole match in action. Once you're all set up just like this, all you need is to set up your camera or your smartphone. So as you can see here, you can just slide your smartphone in. It's adjustable for different size phones. I like to set mine up in landscape mode because you get a wider view of the whole court there. As you can see on the back here as well, you've got these rubber attachments. These can wrap around the corners of your phone just to make sure that it's completely stable and in place. And that way, if a ball hits your phone, it's going to be pretty stable and in position and secure there. Play around with the angle. So you want the camera angle to be pointing down to the court. I like to set my camera up in selfie mode because that way when I'm hanging up the fence mount, I can see if the court's in frame and I'm ready to go. If you want a slightly better camera quality, actually using the rear camera of a smartphone tends to be slightly better quality. The difficulty with that is you can't see if you're in frame or not. So a good idea is to have a little practice one, lock it in place. You've got this ball and socket joint here, so it's very easy to maneuver. And once you've got the angle right, you're all set to go. The final piece of kit that I didn't mention is the velcro strip, and this is really handy, especially if it is a windy day. So when I hang this up on the fence behind me, you'll notice on a windy day that the pole can wobble a little bit. So by simply attaching this velcro to the bottom of the post onto the fence, we'll lock it into place, and it will mean that when it is windy, your camera won't be shaking all over the place. So this is how I'm going to set it up. So as you can see here, I've got the fence mount set up, and I've got the court centered in the middle of the frame from a nice height and a good perspective. This way you'll be able to see some really good rallies, you'll be able to see height over the net and seeing your opponent being pulled from side to side. So as I mentioned, this is quite versatile, and another cool perspective that you can get on the tennis court is if you hang the fence mount on either the center strap of the net or near the tram line, so you get more of a diagonal perspective. And using the velcro, you can simply attach the bottom of the pole to the net to try to avoid any shakes. And you'll see here, this is a pretty cool perspective of the tennis court. Just before you go, my number one piece of advice is make sure you hit that record button before you set your camera up. There's nothing worse than playing an epic point without it being on video. Good luck.